Alright, here I am with my 6 M12 draft. This is an interesting first pack. Crook Sword, it's an okay card, but it's green. It's also 7, so I don't find it to be that great of a card. Two best cards in this pack are clearly Sarah Angel and Chandra's Outrage. I think Sarah's better. Like, I generally like... Sarah is such an amazing card, simply because of the fact that it provides defense and offense. Like, it completely differs itself from a card like Sengir Vampire, where you either swing or you hold back to protect yourself. This card does both. Thus, it's incredible. I mean, it can still die to Doomblade, unlike a Sengir, but I think for that very reason, like, Vigilance is such a powerful ability here. I'm going to see what we're going to wheel real fast, but I think I'm taking Sarah, passing Outrage, thinking that they're going to go into red. There's enough blue and white. I think we're going to wheel one of these blue and white cards. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that I would expect to be standard playables outside of these crappier cards. And I expect, yeah, to get one of the white cards like the Bear's back, maybe the Divination. Noting that we passed Chandra's Outrage. Because of that note, I think that I like pairing like white with red or white with blue best. Right now, I think I'm going to be wanting to go in the blue direction since I passed Chandra's Outrage. Like Stave Off and Warmancer are solid white cards. Warmancer's more situational. This is a great card almost in any deck. But I've passed a red card, and since these are more late picks, I think I'm going to just want to go with the Beltar Sphinx here and move into blue. They took a rare, not really sure what they're taking because of that. But I think Beltar Sphinx is the strongest card here. Is a good strategy, like blue-white. I mean, it fits in the deck excellently. And I might be wheeling one of those other late blue cards or one of these blue cards. So, it's a solid pick. And then we run into this pack that really isn't that strong in any account. Like, Child of Night's probably the best card in the pack. Like, Sacred Wolf's a really strong card in green, but not like first pick green. So, while this might be a signal, it really isn't. They've taken it uncommon and uncommon. I think just following up the white with Armored Warhorse is good. It looks like it might be a more... Like, I think white decks that lean on white are pretty strong. You can get Guardian's Pledges and lots of white creatures, so starting with the Warhorse is fine here. And it's nice to see that there's no crazy red that would make us want to move that direction, since we've already passed the Outrage. And this pack is literally nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. Like, Cutthroat's okay. He's not as offensive as the strategy would like, and both of these guys provide pretty solid defense. So I don't know if I'd want to be going with Cutthroat this early. Pride Guardian and Cutthroat, this is another sideboard type card. Mesmerist, while I've passed another, which we might wheel, doesn't really fit into the plan with these overall cards. I think Manalith is actually the best card here. It can ramp out the Sarah or the Sphinx earlier. It can allow us to splash a Doomblade or Incinerate if need be. Again, we're not even 100% sure we're going with blue, we just might be leaning that way, so I'm taking the Manalith. Yeah, it looks like blue's probably open, seeing the Chasm Drake here, and a Veteran. We don't see anything else that would say that the other colors are open. It looks like these are all mediocre, mid-range creatures. I think Chasm Drake's stronger than Veteran, even though he might be more of a white deck. And, he doesn't work, Chasm Drake doesn't work with Pledges. I think Chasm Drake's a powerful card. And now that we have a Manalith to ramp out, I think it's a little bit safer, even though we've already got 2 5-drops, to just go ahead and take them. And now I look at and see another 5-drop. Well, we've had our glut of 5-drops so far. Like, we might actually be able to pick up another Manalith later in the draft, though, 17 lands and 2 Manaliths can run the risk of Mana Flood. Because of the fact that we have all these 5-drops, I might take the Fleetwing here and just... He makes good use of, like, Divine Favors later on, though the Griffin makes good use of Griffin Riders, so... And since we're probably leaning toward white, Actually, I think I'm taking the Griffin and just passing the Fleetwing. Okay, in this pack, like we've been talking about building a base white deck, you see that there's a Guardian's Pledge left. I think, it's a strong card in an aggressive white deck. The Quicksilver Amulet could be interesting with all these 5-drops. I don't think it's worth it here. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Guardian's Pledge. Learn Siren is actually a pretty decent card when you combine it with Bell Tower Sphinx and the Star Angel and the Griffin. He's an early drop that can trade if need be with something like a Goblin Piker, and late game he can just throw things into my Sarah. And actually, remove a blocker for the Armored Warhorse. So I think Learn Siren is a pretty solid card in this set, or in this situation. Here the Grooksword tabled. As I said, yeah, it's just so expensive even though it's powerful. I think we're going to take it here just because this deck looks like it could get to a late game, and Grooksword could just overwhelm me in the late game. I think a sideboard of Demystify is not as strong as just randomly taking the rare. Though, as I've said before, picking rare, like hate drafting things, isn't necessarily what you want to be doing in this format. Or in any draft format. I don't like Greatsword at all. It's way too slow. It's not a card. I know I've seen some people say they kind of like it. I think it's just terrible. Even on like Sarah. So I'm not playing. Well, I'm going to take Mesmerist just to dissuade people from blue, push them into red. All of these cards kind of suck. Trying to think if I'd rather... Like, this is enough right here to play blue, so I think I'm staying with the blue. I don't think I'm going to switch to red. I guess I could take this guy just in case, because maybe I open some God red card and taking Wall of Torches, and that might cause me to play some like 12-12 Bloodthirst Flyer. So it's worth maybe taking those over the Basilisk when I'm thinking about the fact that... But I'm going to hide them anyway, since I'm probably not going in that direction. When thinking about the fact that both are relatively equal. Alright, this is an interesting pack. We have Aether Adept. Oh, one thing I should note about the last pack is I did not wheel some of those white creatures that I was expecting, so white is being drafted. Though I didn't see a lot of red cards or black cards, so it could have just been weak packs overall. Anyway, in this pack there's an Aether Mage, an Azure Mage and an Aether Adept, both powerful cards. I think the Azure Mage is a little bit better, just because of the mana cost, since I have a Warhorse. It fits into the curve, and it provides strong late game staying power, and utilizes things like Manolith a bit better. There is an Armored Warhorse. Sometimes those go late, especially if there's a veteran, because they're hard to play unless you're committing deep to white. And this pack's pretty solid. Like, there's one... After I take this, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And Flaming Rock Egg are still kind of playable, so there's like 11 playables. I think it's possible I get back like Armored Warhorse here, but seeing that none of the other white cards will, doubtful. Second draft in a row where I have seen an Arachnus Spinner come down. I didn't see any webs. I don't think, like, it's not really an option to switch into green here and go for this. Like, if you don't have webs, he's not that amazing, though he is a card that literally shuts down my deck. I think just going with the Griffin here is the strongest play, even though I have, well, Mana Leak might be the strongest play for my deck. Since I already have 4 or 5 drops, I mean, that's almost the max you can play, unless I got another Manolith, and then that would go up my mana. Mana Leak kind of fits into my curve. It stops things like the Spinner. And as I said before, I have too many 5 drops already, so I don't think I can realistically play that. I'm just going to go ahead and take the leak. Here, Benalish Veteran. Oh, wow, and now I hadn't seen a web before, and there's a web. Benalish Veteran fits well into my deck. It fits with the Guardian's Pledge, which again I might not play depending on my creature count. I don't have any 3-drops yet. He's an aggressive, solidly aggressive card. I might wheel back the Dignitary, which is also decent in this deck because it allows me to get my 4-drop out without danger. I might wheel a Manolith. Like, this pack's pretty deep, so like Greatsword Goblin Grenade. How many cards are left? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I probably won't wheel it, but I might wheel like Manolith or Dignitary here. Doubtful Dignitary since there's so much white being drafted. I think Divination's the pick. Again, I don't have many 3-drops. Helps me get to my Sarah. I'm not playing, like, Thron Golem's just not good. And none of these other cards excite me at all. I already have a Pledge. You'll notice that I haven't... this would make splashing spiders and webs okay. Since I also have a manolith. You'll notice that, as I said before, I have that many 5 drops already. I don't have any 4 drops. I also don't have any Griffin Rider, so I think the Fleetwing might be slightly better than the Peregrine Griffin. The problem is opposing Peregrine Griffins just kind of ruined my day. For that reason, maybe just taking the Griffin is better. And taking like a manolith might be. Now that I have some card draw, the extra mana isn't going to be completely wasted. I'm going to go with the Griffin. I don't have anything to really use the Fleetwing